All right, so I got a little bit of Sprite with some actual lemons in there, so that the citric acid somewhat stabilizes the citric acid that sodas are, because sodas are just a can of citric acid. The biggest issue, though, that I've experienced now, keep in mind, I am more of an optimize my health through my nutrition. I've never used, and I don't use, Liver King juice. But the thing that I see is a lot of Instagram and fitness people, and my physique is attainable naturally. The physiques that we see on Instagram and the physiques that we see, most of them are not natural. You can't get them without using pharmaceuticals, which compromise the integrity of your organs. Now, you can look great on the outside, but if you're not taking in the proper electrolytes, your sodium, potassium, magnesium you can get from cruciferous vegetables. You can get them from other sources. Liver is actually a great source of a vitamin complex, but sodium, you need salt. That's why the Roman Empire would conquer places and capture salt mines with their armies. Salt was borderline a currency. You need it to survive. That's why they would say that man's not worth his weight in salt. Okay? So, salt is the biggest electrolyte. So when you cut out the carbohydrates, that processed food. When I say processed food, for the most part, I'm talking about these crazy things that we're making with wheat and corn. That's the majority of what this processed, hyper palatable food stuff is. You just learn to cook with seasonings, cook at home. You gotta be hungry. If you're expecting to I'm gonna fix my health and nutrition with eating more, but I'm gonna eat more of something else of the right thing. You don't. The problem is not the fact that you need to eat more. You need to stop eating. You need to learn how to not eat. Learn how to skip a meal. Learn how to not eat for a whole day. That's completely and metabolically healthy. Your metabolism needs to learn how to shift to burning that fat, to creating autophagy so that your old dead cells can be recycled by stronger, more genetically dominant cells, so that you can, age backwards, as some people might say. But you need to create it where your body has that opportunity to heal itself, to burn the fat. So it's kind of frustrating seeing all of these fitness people who are really super aesthetic, and it's mostly just for the looks for them. When they come off, they can't keep eating the pizza, right? You can't, I can't, I don't. They can't keep eating all this kind of garbage. Now, keep in mind, if you're maintaining caloric deficits and you're aware of how to create a caloric deficit while managing your hunger hormone, which is called ghrelin, and feeling your satiety hormone, which is called leptin, and you're aware of your endocrine system and your nervous system, and you actually know what you're doing, then I give you that. But for the most part, majority of people I'm speaking to have no idea what is actually physically achievable. You can get lean, you can get shredded, you can get cut, you can do it well not having vast amounts of hunger if you can kick over from burning carbohydrates into becoming more of a fat burner. Now, you don't have to do that. You can cut and become lean, being one of the 200 gram carb guys or 300 gram carb guys. But keep in mind that that's going to spike ghrelin, so you might end up extremely hungry and dealing with hunger. I, for myself, have noticed when I eat carbohydrates, and I do eat carbohydrates still, but when I eat large amounts of it, the next day, I'm like, I was never able to get this hungry yesterday. But what happens is that shifts the hormones. It does make you more sensitive to them, but I choose to go with salty, buttery vegetables. I choose to go with, decent high amount of protein. And I really only eat kind of one meal a day. Sometimes I snack on healthy fat nuts like macadamians and things like that. But for me, that's kind of it, you guys. Don't use exogenous things. You'll end up having to learn about nutrition later on down the road when you've got messed up hormones and your boys don't even work anymore. So that's one thing that you can pay attention and observe. Most of these big buff men who have been using these exogenous things, they ain't even got the balls, right? So they come off of that, they're jacked for life. So I look at that as kind of big hat, no cattle, right? Peace.